Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today, well, it's a nasty day in Georgia. Rain's moving in. But today is day 4 of the swing set build slash playhouse build. I did get my brackets in. I ordered these off Amazon. Eastern Jungle Gym. Fits a 4x6 perfectly. Like, I mean, it's a good fit. I mean, it's like it should be. The 4x4's in there. I haven't bolted anything up. I did that just to get my measurement for my 4x6 to get mounted. So today's goal, roof, well, at least the truss is put up. I'm gonna cut this 4x6, I'm gonna cut 2 pieces out of it. And one of them is for this here to sit on the other side. I got my measurement on that. So I get that put in place, and then I'm gonna put the 4x6 way over there on that platform. And that's what the deck rail here, the sky bridge, is actually gonna sit on. So let's get to it. All right, so now we're gonna mount the 4x6s. Now this first one I'm gonna mount goes here. And it's actually gonna be the easiest because I have something to push up against to. That way I don't have to like fight and hold it. All right, I had to come outside because, well, Dad is in there making noise with the router and I don't know if he can hear me good. So for mounting these 4x6s, both these 4x6s, I'm actually using timber locks, 6-inch ones. They're supposed to replace the 3/8 lag. I'd rather had went with the GRKs, but I couldn't find any long enough. And since this is going to be going through a 4x6 into the 4x4, I needed something longer. So 6-inch ones should get done. I'm going to put basically 6 to start with, 3 on each side. See how I feel about it. May add a 4th one in there. To make this a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and pre-run a couple of these in there. All right, so that will house the bridge to sit on. That way we don't have any issues with it. Good support all the way around. Now we've got to do this one up here at 109 inches, which is why I have this put together out here, is stood it up, got a rough, pretty close idea. So basically this is non-cut 10-footer straight from the store. This is a no-cut 12-footer, 4x6. Anyway, got it measured, 109 inches. I'm gonna make my marks. I'm gonna put me some clamps up there so I can go sit this thing up there and screw it on real quick. All right, so we got 3 bolts on this side, 3 on that side, going into the 4x4s. That is what the swing beam is going to sit on top of, and then we'll tie all that in together there. So now I'm going to try to work on trusses. One end of these that's going to be in the peak is going to be 35-degree angle, and then we're going to have 55 on the other end, and they're going to be just under 44 inches long. We have changed the roof design after we got up here fooling with it. So we've got the 2x4s, we put the plates there, we came back, put screws in through this, and then we put these angle brackets both sides. We're we're not gonna put 2 more trusses in. We're only gonna leave it like that. And now we're gonna come back with 2x4s, angle bracket those in to run the roof on. So we went 8 inches from the edge up, and then I actually measured 9.5 from the center because the board is gonna be on the other side of from where I measured. I just realized I had the camera set on picture and not video. You're welcome. So not sure how much I've gotten caught at that, but instead of doing multiple trusses, we're doing 1 on each end like we've done here. We've come back around our 2x4s. This is only a 6-foot, you know, roof, so it's not like a ton of weight and stuff on it. But I mean, this thing is pretty dang on stout. I mean, compared to, you know, compared to what I've been doing, I don't think you're gonna have any issue. Now, I did tie these trusses down with these angle brackets here. There is a problem with that I don't like, because I'm going into end green here. Not a fan of that. But I also have a screw going in up here, and I've still got some other stuff I'm gonna do to tie this thing together. But I gotta go get some more screws for this. But essentially, the roof is mostly done. Now I'm gonna come back in here and put me some pieces here, and I'm gonna do that real quick. That won't take long. Knock that out, and that leaves me getting the wall up tomorrow. We're gonna put a little half wall here, getting the railing up over here. I've got to get the railing done over here for the walkway. Getting there slowly but surely. All right, so I got 2 of these cut 25 inches, and basically I'm gonna set them like that. So I gotta mark the centers real quick, and then I'll screw them in real quick. Now what I'm gonna do is come back and mark this right here and get me a length of a cut. I'm gonna put a 45 on this and let it land where it lands. All right, so essentially what I'm gonna do is take and run a single screw through there, and then where this lands out on a 45, I'm gonna run a screw through that, and that's it. There's your gable right there. Now this front is only gonna have a small wall section. I still haven't figured out. I initially thought about doing a full 2x4 cross, but I don't like that idea of walking up here. So I'm thinking about doing a 4x4 lagging into this with a 2x4 going across from there, and then some pickets right here, because the slide is going here and this is going to be the walkway. The slide I don't care about, you know, that's something good to kind of grab a hold to as you sit down, but I really don't want it in the walkway area. So trying to figure that out. I don't know. Well, I had not planned on doing this inside, but well, I wanted to check a few things out, make sure we got everything like we wanted to, and I didn't turn the damn camera on, but we used the skid steer. We now have the sky bridge linking up to the main treehouse portion. So we now have it all in place. All right, we are 1 week from the party, and here's where we stand. So this is just mocked up right now. We're gonna get that put in place later on. I'm getting ready to work on the half wall for the back of this and the back down here. And I'm gonna work on bracing today and hopefully get these steps knocked out today. Been to Home Depot, got some more lumber. And for the roof, actually I didn't realize they had this stuff till I think it was last night I was looking. We're using these polycarbonate foam, whatever the heck they're called. It's supposed to be real durable. I liked it because I was gonna put metal, but I was worried about her cutting her hand, and well, this really ain't gonna cut you. So that's why we're going that way. All right, so for these wall sections, we're actually gonna go 36 inches from here up is all we're gonna do it. Run a 2x4. I've got some 5/4 board I'm gonna cut, and that's gonna be the paneling for this. I've got another, actually I think I'm gonna put a 2x6 here, just as a kick plate and it fills in that gap nicely. So I'm gonna do that there. Down here, we're gonna do the same. We are gonna come back and picket. I don't know if we're doing both sides, but we're gonna put 36-inch pickets all the way around down here. We're gonna leave part of it open for them, you know, to make a play area. All right, so we've got the back walls finished up. I still gotta put trim board there, trim board on top. I've got to still put this board on. We're gonna wrap at least one board here and here. I don't know what we're doing here yet. That's why I don't have the 2x4 in place, because we may leave it open or partially open there. I'm not 100% sure. My wife hasn't come over, but we're gonna picket this side over here. So real quick too, luckily this is working out very well. So this is starting one dead in the center, and I end up finishing off the corner with a 5/4 on this side and around here. Worked out perfectly, no cuts there. Same thing up here. I decided, hey, let's go ahead and trim this corner out. Now this corner is a little different because I wanted it to be flush with this, and for that to work out I had to leave this here, which honestly just gives it a reveal, not a big issue. You do see that I have a board here. I did the same thing on the back just to give me something to put my pieces to, and I'll be able to set them up there, screw them in. And basically I've got these set up that they're gonna have I'm gonna grab a 2x4 piece, sit it between them, and that's gonna be my my spacer. So we got the pickets on the bottom here, pickets on the side. So still got to figure out what we're going to do over here. I'm about at a stopping point inside the building. The only thing I'm going to be able to do now is I'm going to put the panels on this side, which I'm getting ready to try to go cut. I'm going to put the panels on this side. The reason I'm not going to be able to do it on this side is because fooling with this thing yesterday, I mean, I know I've seen a lot on the Sky Bridge and they make them like a little tunnel, but it is like kind of a pain in the butt to get through that. So what I'm gonna do is, once I get this thing in place, So the bridge actually is a piece itself, and it sits on this 2x6. This 2x6 stays with this. The 2x6 on this goes with the bridge. I'm going to wait till I get it in place, and then I'm going to run a 4x4. I may go all the way down to here, all the way up. I'll put another 4x4 there, and I'm actually going to take the roof and make almost like a dormer and do away with that, so you don't hit your dagnum head getting up through there. I think it'll be better for everybody. So let me get the stuff set up. We're gonna do these panels. So I've got these polycarbonate foam, whatever the heck they're called, panels. So I'm gonna use the same jig that we use for cutting the game room panels, because it's literally the same panel other than it's not metal. Went that route because I didn't want to cut our hands on it. So I'm gonna get those set up upstairs. We're gonna cut those, bring them back down and install them. So in the past, some of you may have seen this jig set up. This table we used to cut all the steel corrugation. Worked freaking phenomenal. So now I'm gonna repurpose it, which is really nothing more than I'm just gonna move my stop. I'm gonna take my stop up, move it, because I'm gonna go 48 on these panels. These are supposed to be 8-foot panels, so we're gonna go 48 and cut these off. So what I'm gonna use, same saw, but I don't know on the blade. I'm going to try, the only thing I've got is I've got that diamond one, which I'm not gonna use, but I also had this metal blade that I have turned around complete 180, or I've turned it around backwards. So we're gonna try to cut it backwards, because I hear that is the way to do it, but normally you do it with a wood blade, and I have a steel blade. So we're gonna see if it works. Let me get everything set up, we'll get it going. Alright, so the metal cutting saw blade flipped backwards worked great. Not how you're supposed to use it, but you can tell, well, it's hard to tell, but you can see the cut line. So the top one is the factory edge, and the bottom is what I just got done cutting. And honestly, you can't ask for a much better finish, and look how straight we get it. So pretty happy with it. All right, so I've got those panels cut, but I think before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully knock out these pickets on the tall section. This way, I can get this piece out of my way. Go ahead, I mean, it's a rainy, nasty day outside. It's hard to tell from the camera. But I'm thinking about going ahead and taking it to the yard. I think I'm going to take it to the yard, but I think I'm going to put these pickets on the outer, at least the two sides. I'm not going to do the slide side yet, because I'm still debating on, I don't know, I may go ahead and put them over here too. I'm like a squirrel, 2-second brain retention. I'll change my mind in about 2 seconds. All right, so what I didn't show you is, well, yeah, that mess, because I ended up going ahead and routing these boards because I had them over just a hair. So I went ahead and routed them flush. That way I don't have them kind of in the way of the pickets. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and get these done, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, so I've got all the pickets that I'm going to do on this while it's here now. Got it right around the side. Now, if you notice, I swapped this around and put it on this outside edge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run an X brace from there to there and there to there, anchored in really good. I'm just going to use straight up 8-footers because they should fit perfectly. Did just have an epiphany. Sitting here thinking, there's actually no reason. The more I sit here and think about it, there's no reason I can't go ahead and cut these 4x4s. So I got a 4x4 that's actually gonna be sitting here going up. But over here, this 4x4 is actually gonna extend down and going up. So as long as I don't screw it to these 3 panels, I'm fine. I could screw it to this panel and, well, that isn't gonna hurt anything. And I can finish building this over here. That's what I'm gonna do. Why didn't I think of that at the get-go? All right, so we're back. It's the next day, and what's on the agenda I'm gonna go ahead and do. I thought I was gonna be able to finish it all in here, but I won't. I'll have to still be able to, I can go ahead and put my 4x4s on the corners here, but I won't be able to build that roof section until I get it in place, because that's gonna tie back to the main house. So I can't do that. It's, well, we've seen cleaner days, clearer days. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut me a 4x4, 7 foot, cut 2 of them to go from there up, straight up. And that's gonna be what my roof ties to. So let me get those cut first. All right, so we're gonna lay out these steps real quick. I've already got them laid out per se on the computer. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. When we did the other stairs, we have this little doohickey here, these little pieces that you actually go on your square, and essentially you set them. So for instance here, you would set the top portion up here to the length from this edge here to where it hits the board. I know there's all these lines here. What you don't realize, those are my measurement marks down here. So you set that one to go to that length, and then you set this other one here based off your rise. So your run and rise, and all you do is you basically get all your points where it touches here, and then you go stick this up on the board and basically line this point here up with your mark, and then that one will hit where it lands at, and you draw out, and that's where the bottom of the step would be in this case. I'm not notching any of this. Like, I'm not gonna take the time to do like notch staircase. I'm gonna leave it a straight piece all the way up. I'm gonna cut the ends properly, and then I'm gonna use angle brackets to put these in, because I have a ton of angle brackets, and it's easier. So that's just my theory, or that's my thought, not my theory. That's what I'm doing. So let's get this finished up. All right, so I just wrote down all my dimensions on my hand so I can wipe them away before I get it done. But what I'm gonna do is I'm doing the actual main side pieces out of 2x10, and then the steps are gonna be 2x8s with 5/4 boards that are just gonna be toe kicks in the back. Just keep your foot from going back there for her. So let me get the board cut. I'm gonna set up, cut it. I gotta cut it exactly, basically 96 inches, and then I'm gonna set it up because I've run out of room on crap between my two stairs here, do my marks, and I'll show you how this thing actually gets done. Now, in theory, I should be able to take these dimensions, put them on that board, make my mark, and then I should be able to go through and mark it. The only issue is gonna be that very bottom step. I won't be able to do it that way because of how low it is, but not a big issue. All right, so the way this is supposed to work is basically you take, I'll show you, pan you down. So as you can see, I have marks here. So basically you take this, and you run this right up to that edge where that mark is, and you draw it. And just repeat the process. All right, so actually the last two, I'm gonna have to do it a little bit different. Just simply because my piece doesn't fall out on there right. It's not gonna hit the 2x10. It's really close, but it's not close enough. So I'll come back and mark those a little bit different. But at least this is getting me going. Let me get this other end done real quick, and yeah, we'll take a look at it. All right, so I just eyeballed on the last one. Pretty darn close. I'm gonna now mark the two ends of how I planned on cutting them, just so I can get an idea, making sure this thing kind of lays out like I want, and then we'll go from there. Looks like, honestly, I just need to make my notches and I am good to go. All right, so just a recap of this weekend, what got done. Actually, I don't remember where I started at on Friday, but we now have all the pickets in for the bridge. Now that is still separated, or it's going to be separated from the main house and this, so we can move this. I'm going to pull the slide back down, and I've just got a couple of them big lags in there to pull the bridge down. I've got the roof finished on one half. The other half, I can't put anything else on until we get it into place over there. I did get one of the panels cut, so it'll notch. You'll have to see it when I get done with it. But, you know, initial plan didn't call for the roof to be done the way I'm doing it, but it just makes so much more sense. And I think it'll make it a whole lot better for everybody, including the adults and the kids. Keep from hitting their head as much. But we've got the bottom done. The top, or we still got a corner board to go here. I'm gonna wait and finish that off next weekend. I say next weekend, literally only have Friday and a little bit of Saturday morning because our party's at 2 on Saturday. So we're gonna stop it for today. We'll see what happens, but stay tuned for more.